Are you struggling to navigate the complex web of regulations and compliance requirements in your industry? Whether you work in pharmaceuticals, aviation, finance, or any other sector, understanding and meeting industry-specific regulations is crucial for success. In this course on industry-specific regulations and compliance requirements, we will explore the various regulations that apply to different industries and how companies can ensure compliance. From product design to labor practices to environmental impact, we will cover the key areas that are regulated and the standards that companies must meet to demonstrate compliance. We will also discuss the consequences of non-compliance, including legal and financial penalties, and the importance of staying up to date with regulatory changes. Join us to gain the knowledge and skills you need to navigate the regulatory landscape and succeed in your industry. Number 1. Industry-specific regulations are put in place to ensure safety, quality, and environmental protection in various sectors, such as pharmaceuticals, aviation, automotive, financial, energy, food, telecommunications, mining, chemical, and agriculture. Industries across the globe are regulated to ensure safety, quality, and environmental protection. Without these regulations, companies may cut corners, risking the health and well-being of consumers, employees, and the planet. In the pharmaceutical industry, for example, regulations exist to ensure that drugs are safe, effective, and of high quality. Clinical trials must meet specific standards, and drug manufacturing processes are closely monitored to prevent contamination or errors that could lead to harm. These regulations help protect patients and ensure that the drugs they take are both safe and effective. In aviation, regulations are in place to ensure that air travel is as safe as possible. From aircraft design to maintenance and air traffic control, strict guidelines help prevent accidents and ensure the safety of passengers and crew. Without these regulations, air travel would be far more dangerous than it is today. The automotive industry is regulated to ensure that cars are both safe and environmentally friendly. Regulations cover everything from emissions to crash tests to fuel efficiency. These regulations help protect consumers from unsafe vehicles and also help reduce the impact of the automotive industry on the environment. In the financial industry, regulations exist to protect consumers from fraud and abuse. Regulations cover areas such as banking, securities trading, insurance, and financial advice. These regulations help ensure that consumers are treated fairly and that financial institutions operate in an ethical and responsible manner. In the energy industry, regulations are in place to protect workers and the environment. Regulations cover areas such as oil drilling, nuclear power, renewable energy, and electricity generation and distribution. These regulations help ensure that energy is produced and distributed in a safe and environmentally responsible manner. In the food industry, regulations exist to ensure food safety, labeling accuracy, and nutrition information. Regulations cover everything from food additives to packaging and labeling. These regulations help protect consumers from unsafe or mislabeled food products. In telecommunications, regulations help ensure fair competition and protect consumer rights. Regulations cover areas such as wireless spectrum allocation, network infrastructure, and pricing. These regulations help ensure that consumers have access to reliable and affordable communication services. In the mining industry, regulations are in place to protect workers and the environment. Regulations cover areas such as mine design, waste disposal, and labor practices. These regulations help ensure that mining is conducted in a safe and environmentally responsible manner. In the chemical industry, regulations exist to ensure the safe production, handling, and disposal of chemicals. Regulations cover areas such as chemical safety, labeling, and testing. These regulations help protect workers, the public, and the environment from the risks associated with chemical production and use. In the agriculture industry, regulations exist to ensure food safety, animal welfare, and environmental protection. Regulations cover areas such as pesticide use, animal husbandry practices, and land use. These regulations help ensure that food is produced in a safe and sustainable manner. In conclusion, industry-specific regulations play a crucial role in ensuring safety, quality, and environmental protection across a wide range of sectors. These regulations are necessary to protect consumers, workers, and the planet, and without them, the risks to health and safety would be far greater. Number 2, these regulations may vary from country to country and are often set by national or international bodies. As businesses operate in a globalized world, it's important to understand that industry-specific regulations can vary greatly from country to country. These regulations are often set by national or international bodies to ensure that companies operate in a safe and ethical manner. For example, in the automotive industry, emission standards may differ between countries. In the European Union, cars must meet Euro emission standards, while in the United States, the Environmental Protection Agency sets the standards for emissions. These variations in regulations can affect how companies operate in different markets and require them to adapt their practices accordingly. In the financial industry, regulations may also differ from country to country. For instance, the United States has the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, which regulates securities trading and requires publicly traded companies to file regular reports. In the United Kingdom, the Financial Conduct Authority, FCA, oversees financial markets and ensures that companies comply with regulations. These differences can affect how financial institutions operate in different countries and can require them to navigate varying regulatory requirements. In some cases, international bodies such as the World Health Organization, WHO, or the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, set industry-specific regulations that apply across multiple countries. For example, the ICAO sets international safety standards for air travel, while the WHO sets guidelines for the safety and efficacy of drugs. In conclusion, industry-specific regulations can vary greatly from country to country, requiring companies to navigate a complex web of regulations when operating in multiple markets. Understanding these regulations and adapting practices accordingly is essential for companies to operate safely, ethically, and effectively in today's globalized economy. Number 3, in many cases, regulatory bodies require companies to meet certain standards or obtain specific certifications to demonstrate compliance with regulations. Regulatory bodies across various industries play a critical role in ensuring that companies operate in a safe and ethical manner. In many cases, these regulatory bodies require companies to meet certain standards or obtain specific certifications to demonstrate compliance with regulations. For example, in the pharmaceutical industry, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, requires companies to obtain approval before releasing a new drug to the market. Companies must undergo rigorous clinical trials and demonstrate the safety and efficacy of their drugs before they can be approved. This process helps ensure that drugs are safe and effective for consumers. In the automotive industry, regulatory bodies may require companies to obtain specific certifications for their vehicles. For example, the European New Car Assessment Program, Euro NCAP, provides safety ratings for cars sold in Europe. Automakers must meet certain safety standards to obtain a high rating, which can be an important selling point for consumers. In the financial industry, regulatory bodies may require companies to meet certain standards or obtain specific certifications to ensure that they operate in an ethical and responsible manner. For example, the ISO 27001 certification sets standards for information security management systems, which can be important for financial institutions that handle sensitive data. In many cases, these regulatory requirements can be costly and time-consuming for companies. However, they are necessary to ensure that businesses operate in a safe and ethical manner, protecting consumers and the environment. In conclusion, regulatory bodies play a critical role in ensuring that companies comply with industry-specific regulations. The standards and certifications required by regulatory bodies help demonstrate that companies are operating in a safe and ethical manner, protecting consumers and the environment. While these requirements can be challenging for companies, they are necessary to ensure that businesses operate responsibly in today's globalized economy. Number 4, regulations may cover various aspects of an industry, including product design, manufacturing processes, marketing and advertising, labor practices, and environmental impact. Industries across the globe are regulated to ensure that they operate in a safe and ethical manner. These regulations can cover various aspects of an industry, including product design, manufacturing processes, marketing and advertising, labor practices, and environmental impact. In the food industry, for example, regulations may cover various aspects of food safety, including how food is stored, prepared, and served. Regulations may also cover the labeling and advertising of food products, ensuring that consumers have access to accurate and transparent information about the food they purchase. In the automotive industry, regulations may cover product design and safety, manufacturing processes, and emission standards. Manufacturers must comply with regulations to ensure that their vehicles are safe and meet environmental standards. In the financial industry, regulations may cover labor practices, marketing and advertising, and compliance with anti-money laundering laws. Financial institutions must comply with regulations to ensure that they operate ethically and responsibly. Regulations may also cover environmental impact, with industries required to take steps to minimize their impact on the environment. For example, in the mining industry, regulations may require companies to mitigate the environmental impact of their operations by implementing measures to reduce pollution and protect local ecosystems. In conclusion, regulations can cover various aspects of an industry, with the aim of ensuring that companies operate in a safe and ethical manner. Compliance with regulations is critical for businesses to protect consumers and the environment, and to ensure that they operate responsibly in today's globalized economy. Number 5. Some regulations are industry-specific, while others may apply across multiple sectors, such as labor laws, intellectual property protections, and environmental regulations. Regulations are a critical component of industries across the globe, with many designed to ensure that businesses operate in a safe and ethical manner. Some regulations are industry-specific, while others may apply across multiple sectors, such as labor laws, intellectual property protections, and environmental regulations. Labor laws are an example of regulations that apply across multiple industries. These regulations aim to protect the rights of workers and ensure that they are treated fairly in the workplace. Labor laws may cover aspects such as minimum wage, working hours, and workplace safety. Intellectual property protections are another example of regulations that apply across multiple industries. These regulations help protect the rights of individuals and businesses who create original works, such as patents, trademarks, and copyrights. Intellectual property protections are critical for fostering innovation and protecting the rights of creators. Environmental regulations are another example of regulations that apply across multiple industries. These regulations aim to protect the environment and minimize the impact of industrial activities on the planet. Environmental regulations may cover aspects such as emission standards, waste disposal, and energy consumption. In conclusion, while some regulations are specific to particular industries, many regulations apply across multiple sectors, such as labor laws, intellectual property protections, and environmental regulations. Compliance with these regulations is critical for businesses to operate in a responsible and ethical manner, protecting the rights of workers, creators, and the environment. Number 6. Compliance with industry-specific regulations is often mandatory, and companies that fail to comply may face legal or financial penalties. The importance of compliance with industry-specific regulations cannot be overstated. Companies that fail to comply with these regulations may face serious consequences, including legal or financial penalties. In many industries, compliance with regulations is mandatory. This means that companies must ensure that their operations and products meet the requirements set by regulatory bodies. Failure to comply with these regulations can result in fines, legal action, and damage to a company's reputation. For example, in the pharmaceutical industry, compliance with regulations is critical for ensuring that drugs are safe and effective. Companies must adhere to strict guidelines for product testing and clinical trials to ensure that their drugs meet the required safety standards. Failure to comply with these regulations can result in serious consequences, including harm to patients and legal action against the company. Similarly, in the energy industry, compliance with regulations is critical for ensuring that companies operate in an environmentally responsible manner. Companies must adhere to strict emission standards and environmental regulations to minimize the impact of their operations on the planet. Failure to comply with these regulations can result in fines, legal action, and damage to a company's reputation. In conclusion, compliance with industry-specific regulations is essential for businesses to operate in a safe and ethical manner. Failure to comply with these regulations can result in serious consequences, including legal or financial penalties. Companies must prioritize compliance with regulations to protect their reputation, ensure the safety of their products, and operate in an environmentally responsible manner. Number 7. Regulatory bodies may conduct inspections or audits to ensure companies are following regulations and may impose fines or penalties if violations are found. Regulations are put in place to ensure that businesses operate in a safe and ethical manner, and regulatory bodies play a critical role in enforcing these regulations. Regulatory bodies may conduct inspections or audits to ensure that companies are following regulations, and may impose fines or penalties if violations are found. Inspections and audits may be conducted randomly or in response to complaints or suspected violations. During these inspections, regulatory bodies may review company records, inspect facilities, and interview employees to ensure that the company is following regulations. If violations are found, regulatory bodies may impose fines or penalties, and in some cases, may take legal action against the company. For example, in the food industry, regulatory bodies may conduct inspections of food processing plants to ensure that they are following food safety regulations. If violations are found, the regulatory body may impose fines, require corrective action, or even shut down the facility until the violations are addressed. Similarly, in the financial industry, regulatory bodies may conduct audits of financial institutions to ensure that they are following regulations related to consumer protection and financial stability. If violations are found, the regulatory body may impose fines, require corrective action, or even revoke the institution's license to operate. In conclusion, regulatory bodies play a critical role in enforcing industry-specific regulations and ensuring that businesses operate in a safe and ethical manner. Inspections and audits may be conducted to ensure compliance with regulations, and fines or penalties may be imposed if violations are found. Companies must prioritize compliance with regulations to avoid legal or financial consequences and maintain their reputation in the industry. Number 8. In some cases, industry-specific regulations may be updated or revised to reflect changing technologies, business practices, or societal expectations. Industry-specific regulations are constantly evolving to reflect changing technologies, business practices, and societal expectations. In some cases, regulations may be updated or revised to improve safety, enhance environmental protection, or promote ethical business practices. For example, in the automotive industry, regulations may be updated to reflect advancements in vehicle technology, such as the development of electric and hybrid vehicles. These regulations may set new standards for vehicle emissions, fuel efficiency, and safety features to promote the adoption of these technologies. Similarly, in the financial industry, regulations may be updated to address emerging risks, such as cyber threats or financial crimes. These regulations may require financial institutions to implement new security measures, strengthen anti-money laundering practices, or enhance consumer protections. Regulations may also be updated to reflect changing societal expectations. For example, in the food industry, regulations may be updated to promote sustainability, reduce waste, and improve animal welfare. These changes may reflect evolving consumer preferences for environmentally responsible and socially conscious products. In conclusion, Industry-specific regulations play a critical role in ensuring that businesses operate in a safe and ethical manner. These regulations may be updated or revised to reflect changing technologies, business practices, or societal expectations. Companies must stay up to date with these changes to ensure compliance with regulations and maintain their reputation in the industry. Number 9. Companies may need to dedicate significant resources to ensure compliance with industry-specific regulations, such as hiring specialized staff, investing in new equipment, or implementing new processes. Compliance with industry-specific regulations is crucial for companies to operate legally and ethically. However, ensuring compliance can require significant resources, including specialized staff, new equipment, and new processes. For instance, in the pharmaceutical industry, companies may need to invest in specialized equipment and facilities to ensure the safety and efficacy of their products. They may also need to hire specialized staff, such as pharmacists or quality assurance professionals, to ensure compliance with regulatory requirements. Similarly, in the energy industry, companies may need to invest in new equipment or technologies to reduce their environmental impact and comply with regulations. This may include installing new emissions controls, investing in renewable energy, or implementing energy-efficient technologies. In some cases, compliance with industry-specific regulations may require companies to restructure their operations or adopt new processes. For example, in the financial industry, companies may need to implement new risk management practices or comply with new regulations related to data privacy or cybersecurity. In conclusion, compliance with industry-specific regulations can be a significant challenge for companies. It may require substantial investments in new equipment, specialized staff, or new processes. However, compliance is essential for maintaining a company's reputation and ensuring that it operates legally and ethically. Companies that invest in compliance can gain a competitive advantage and demonstrate their commitment to responsible business practices. Number 10. Compliance with industry-specific regulations can also provide competitive advantages for companies that demonstrate a commitment to safety, quality, and environmental sustainability. In today's highly competitive business environment, compliance with industry-specific regulations can provide a significant advantage for companies. By demonstrating a commitment to safety, quality, and environmental sustainability, companies can enhance their reputation, improve customer loyalty, and increase market share. Customers today are more conscious about the products they buy and the companies they support. They are increasingly seeking out companies that prioritize safety, quality, and environmental sustainability. Compliance with industry-specific regulations provides companies with a framework to ensure that they are meeting these expectations. Companies that invest in compliance can also differentiate themselves from their competitors. By demonstrating a commitment to responsible business practices, they can attract customers who are willing to pay a premium for high-quality, sustainable products. Compliance can also provide companies with a competitive advantage in the form of cost savings. By implementing energy-efficient technologies or reducing waste, companies can lower their operating costs and increase their profitability. Finally, compliance can help companies avoid legal or financial penalties that may arise from non-compliance with regulations. By investing in compliance, companies can mitigate their risks and ensure that they are operating within the bounds of the law. In conclusion, compliance with industry-specific regulations can provide significant benefits for companies. By prioritizing safety, quality, and environmental sustainability, companies can improve their reputation, increase customer loyalty, and gain a competitive advantage. Compliance can also lead to cost savings and mitigate risks associated with non-compliance. Companies that invest in compliance can position themselves for long-term success in their respective industries.